The Gutenberg Bible. A single glance at the first page of the Latin Bible, or Vulgate, printed by Johannes Gutenberg, affords an insight into the typographical and design secrets of the first truly significant printed book. It draws attention to important philological and art historical details, and it even reveals the provenance of this extraordinary copy, one of only 4 to be printed on vellum and preserved in their entirety. This particular Bible is now in the collection of the Göttingen Staats- und Universitätsbibliothek. In common with all early printed texts, this Bible has no title page, opening with the first page of text. This is in fact a letter addressed by Saint Jerome, who in the early 4th century made the original version of this Latin translation to a priest, Paulinus, in which he expounds the fundamental significance of the Holy Scriptures and the importance of their sound exegesis. Turning to this copy of the Bible, which was originally in the collection of a monastery, we can read on the very first page a partial account of the Bible's provenance. The ducal chancellery in Wolfenbüttel hereby confirms that Wilhelm von Liesfeld, the illegitimate son of Duke Eric II of Braunschweig-Lüneburg, took this copy away with him from that region, but left it behind in Fritzlar. Duke Julius ordered that the Bible be returned, and on the 5th of April 1587 in Wolfenbüttel it was handed back. Together with the contents of the older Wolfenbüttel library, this copy of the Bible came, in 1618, into the possession of Helmstedt University. In 1807, during the Napoleonic Wars, Helmstedt University was itself relocated to Göttingen. Some of the manuscripts removed at the same time were later returned to Wolfenbüttel, but the Gutenberg Bible remained in Göttingen. "150 copies of the Gutenberg Bible were produced. For this particular vellum copy, each page of text is printed in a deep black ink and is arranged into 2 columns. Highlighting in red ink, so-called rubrication, has been added by hand at the opening line of each column, and to mark the beginning of a new sentence as an aid to the reader. We find it here also used for the initial letter Q in the right-hand column. It is immediately clear that the abbreviation in red ink of the word epistola as epla at the head of one of the columns and the opening lines of St. Jerome's letter have been added by hand. Gutenberg originally experimented with printing metallic type in 2 colors, but the insufficient precision attainable when aligning the 2 blocks of type and the considerable time required for such a procedure persuaded him to leave the addition of color to the scribes and to supply, along with each printed Bible, a tabula rubricarum, listing and explicating all those passages to be picked out in red ink. This page follows closely in the manuscript tradition in several respects. In the division of the text, it bears into 2 columns, in the aforementioned practice of rubrication, and in the decorative treatment of the initial letter. The block of 2 columns of printed text is positioned towards the upper and inner edges of the page, the ratio of the print bearing to the unprinted area of each page following that of the golden section, i.e. 2:3, this too being a practice derived from the manuscript tradition. The style of the printed lettering, which is known as textura, so called because a block of such text appears to be closely and evenly woven out of vertical and horizontal marks, is itself derived from the lettering commonly found in the missals, the large prayer books of the manuscript era. A brief glance at one of Gutenberg's possible manuscript models, the giant Bible, now in the Library of Congress in Washington, provides evidence of direct imitation. The reason why Gutenberg's well-balanced text works so well is that he used not only one version of the 26 letters of the Roman alphabet, each of these in upper and lower case forms, but also a total of 290 diverse versions of these letters. And further variation was always possible through the introduction of ligatures and conventional Latin abbreviations. A few examples. In this line, it was necessary to save the space equivalent to 2 letters. So, the abbreviation L stands here for UL, that is to say, simul, and the abbreviation E for et. 2 lines further on, it is necessary to save the space equivalent to 3 letters. Here we find the abbreviation R for rum, so that the word reads amicitiarum, and E with a bar signifying em, here signifying fidem. And in the next line but one, there were originally 4 letters too many. The Latin abbreviation P with a bar stands for pre, that is to say preferebant. And, a particularly lovely example, if est has to be used at the end of a line, it can be replaced by a simple e. In the line below, we see the familiar abbreviation for the name of Christ, XPI, featuring the ancient Greek letters, here rendered in Latin transcription. 2 lines further on, a very accomplished ligature can be found in the case of the letter combinations ST and SS, used in the word Lustrasse. Through the use of abbreviations, ligatures, and variation in the width of individual letters, it was possible to justify the lines with great precision and thereby to achieve a neatly finished block of text. The first printed book was simultaneously a masterpiece of typography, but its superlative character is also owed to other aspects.